Ole'Pops here. I'm here today to make a VR for 16th day. Congratulations for all your subs, and you got a nice looking pipe there that Ole'Pops like to get his hands on. So I'm going to show you what makes me qualify as a nerd. Of course, now, just out of general principles, you wouldn't look at Ole'Pops and think nerd, because by golly, I'm the coolest showboat in town. I mean, you just take one glance at me and see that I'm the coolest cat going. I scratch up all the cool poles. But you think that your Mystery Science Theater t-shirt qualifies you being a nerd? You're right. It does. I'm a Mystery Science Theater buff from way back. I like all them old B movies, all them old B horror movies. But I like the B horror movies that go way, way back. I like Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. But I like to go back even further than Elvira. Miss Cassandra Peters, that was Elvira. But I like Rich Koss. You know who Rich Koss is? Now do you know who Rich Koss is? Ole'Pops has been an official chicken thrower for a long, long time. 41 years now. Out of Chicago, Illinois. This man's been doing the Svengoolie show. Before that, well, he's son of Svengoolie, but before that, it was out of California. And I was watching Svengoolie then, too. And he was showing, a lot of people don't know, they were showing Svengoolie when Sam Noonan was not Sam Noonan. Sam Noonan was Glenn Strang. Sam Noonan at the Long Branch on Gunsmoke was the original Frankenstein's monster. Everybody knows him now, Glenn Strang, as Sam Noonan, the bartender. He was the original Frankenstein's monster. A lot of people think it was, some people think it was, I can't call his name right now. Some say it was Lon Chaney Jr. Some people think it was, the one that played the doctor. I can't think of his name. Can't call his name. But that's how my mind works when I get old. But anyway, here's what qualifies me as being a nerd. Svengoolie. What else qualifies Ole'Pops as being a nerd? Dragon Ball Z. My son turned me on to Dragon Ball Z when it first came out. He was just a little punk kid, and I didn't care anything about anime. Didn't care the first thing about it, but he started watching Dragon Ball Z, and I got interested in that stuff, and I can't put it down now. They came out with the new stuff a few years later, but the original Dragon Ball Z, Hooked on it. Hooked on it. Let's see, what else qualifies Ole'Pops as being a nerd? The Big Bang Theory. I've got every episode of it on DVD. All 12 seasons. Every episode. And I've got a secret crush on, now y'all shake your fingers at me. I bet you think I'm going to say Kaylee Cuomo, right? No. I got a secret crush on Maya Bialik. Yeah. That new show she's in, what is it, Call Me Cat? We'll give you a plug nickel for it, but I've got a secret crush on Maya Bialik. And I have had all the way back to that silly show she used to be on when she was a kid. But Maya Bialik, if you look at her right dead in the face, she's a pretty, pretty woman. And she's a hoot. She's just a hoot and a half. But what else qualifies Ole'Pops as being a nerd? The fact that I will take something and go with it till I've got it down to a science. 2003, I had my old left knee replaced, and I had 4 inches of the femur because of an abuse that I had done to it myself. We're not going to go into that, but part of the bone had rotted, and they had to sleeve and replace part of it with a titanium shaft. And this is rubber. It's called PC Cut. It's rubber. This is a carving tool. My daughter Gracie and I got into a hobby. I'm not going to tell you anything about the hobby. I'm not going to tell you anything about what it's called or anything. It's just, I am going to tell you something about it. I'm just not going to go into the hobby or into the organization, the club that we joined at the time. I'm just going to tell you about what we did. We started hiking to rehab my knee. And after I had that surgery, she and I, within the first year and a half, ended up hiking over 5,700 miles to rehab my knee. We were with 2 different organizations in doing this. And it started off with this. We were with a group that you had to have a trail name, an identity, and something to show your identity, which was a rubber stamp. You could either buy one or make you one. We wanted to make one. Everything had to be handmade for us. And we had to have a logbook. And these things were worldwide. They were real big in England. Worldwide, though. And it hadn't long been moved to America at the time. And we started carving these stamps. Everybody had to have a stamp. But what they do is they carve a stamp and put a logbook in a box with it. And they'd hide these boxes all over the place. Some in the woods, some in the city. And then they'd write a clue. And they put it on the internet. And leave clues for people to find these boxes. And you'd take the stamp out of this box and stamp it in your logbook, and then take your stamp and stamp it in the logbook that's in this box. then you'd hide the box again back where it was, make sure nobody saw it, because, you know, people are curious and people are vandalists and they'd mess with the box. So you had to be stealthy. And you'd hide the box back, and then you'd get back on the internet and you'd log into this one site and you'd tell them that you found the box, and they'd keep up with your finds and your, anyway, you keep up with it too. But I got pretty good at finding, and I got really good at carving. And eventually, I got so good at carving that was a stamp that I carved for myself. Well, we were invited to a gathering of these people, and there was a person there that was anyway, there were some rumors started about me. And rather than fight these rumors, and anyway, I just stepped out of the picture. Well, people were hiring me and asking me to carve stamps for them for different gatherings, for this and that and this and that. But I stepped out of the picture, and we didn't do it. Oh, and there's a portrait that I carved of Leon Spinks with his teeth missing. It was for a Christmas, and it was, the title of that stamp was "All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth." But anyway, the name of that box was, matter of fact, there's the logbook for it. It was called Two Front Teeth. Anyway, rather than fight all the allegations, we just stepped away from letterboxing. What I did was I patted my daughter on the butt and told her to go play. She was with a bunch of other kids and told me she wanted to show me something. And she took me with a bunch of other kids over to show me the body of a dead possum. So I said, yeah, right. Y'all might want to get away from this. So I reached down and patted her on the butt and told her, said, go ahead and play. Go and play. And somebody said, uh-oh, he touched a little girl inappropriately. And they started, this one person started this rumor. And I said, okay, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm just not going to deal with this. So I just said, forget it. But now things are moving on into, I don't know if I want to say a second stage, or is it even a third stage with Jilly Darling. And I just need something to do. So me and G-Bird are looking to get back into hiking or something to do. Anyway, I got back on the site the other day, and anyway, I want to show you. This is my new carving of me. I pulled out some old rubber, my old carvings, tools, and carved me a new stamp. Here's a carving that I did of my mother, right back before she died. I want to share some of this stuff with you. I don't know who that was, but there's Jilly. There's a portrait I did of her. But, I can't think of his name right now. It'll come to me here in a minute, but there's some reindeers caroling that I did for Christmas one year, and there's 4 little pigs that I carved. There's Captain Jack Sparrow, and There's a little church that I carved. And that was a portrait of Renee Zellweger post plastic surgery. Oh, and that's Orlando Bloom peeking over his shoulder right there. And that's with the eye of the eagle, Peyton Manning, with the gunslinger face there. And that right there, I call that stamp, that's my next plant. I'm going to take that one and make a logbook for it. See the ship sinking back there and the oil spilling out of it? I call that one In a Land Called Honolulu. And I'm going to take that one out and plant it somewhere. We're going to take us a little hike. But anyway, it's carvings that I do. H.P. Lovecraft, that's who that is, right there. Had to look at it again, see the Talitha fixing to sink that ship way back there in the background behind him, see it? And the little hole popping right there in the sky, see it? Anyway, that's some of my addictions there. Some people would carve a little butterfly and say, oh, boop, stamp it in a book. But me, I take things to the nth level. All right, just wanted to show y'all this. This is my kitchen wall. Just showing y'all that, just showing you we're out of paper towels. This is the kitchen wall here, the backsplash on our kitchen wall. And this is what I did with it. You can see that when we remodeled our kitchen, we didn't have a whole lot of money to sink in it. Of course, we don't have a whole lot of money to do any damn thing. But what we did do was we painted the wall white and then striped it off and painted what looked like grout, gray grout. And then we took a bunch of those dadgum stamps and painted a chicken with boxing gloves, or I say painted. It's a stamp. It's a rubber stamp. A chicken with boxing gloves. That's my little fighting cock. And there's that little church and those 4 little piggies and that portrait of my mother. And that right there is a stamp of the Trail of Tears. See, it's a rough wall, so they didn't all stamp on there. And there's peas on earth. And that's a dogwood flower. And there's the little reindeers. Another dogwood flower. And that right there is a movie theater, an old movie theater that I saw somewhere and took a picture of it and carved it.
Are you showing them our dirty dishes?
No, I'm not showing them the dirty dishes. There's Jasper when Jasper was a puppy. One of my little old pit bulls. And there's a Mandela, a Spanish Mandela. There's another 4 pigs. See, we used it to, and there's an old moonshine still. Let me get, yeah, there's an old moonshine still that I carved. There's me, and there's a Mr. Wendell was here stamp, and there's Jilly Darling. And that right, let me see if I can find him. That right there is Loudon Wainwright III. But anyway, we use them stamps for a lot of things. No, we didn't. Not a lot of things, but we used it for that anyway. But that's what makes me a nerd. I won't stop at just carving a butterfly. Anyway, hope that gets me in. You take care. Much love to you. Y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'm Ole'Pops.